Ready?
Bam.
All right. Hey, everybody, Jeff McGinnis over at CrossCountry Mortgage, and I'm honored to have Chris Gurnee of the Chris Gurnee Team with me today. And I wanted to, Chris, I wanted to let you know what I really, really like about you is you've got a clear vision and you've got a clear process. And I wanted just to honor you for the work that you put in on that and ask you a little bit about your vision and how that's kind of evolved. Maybe, I don't know, you pick a timeline. How's that evolved for you?
I'd say in the very beginning, when I first started doing this, my vision was just doing as many transactions possible. And that was just the focus, any means necessary. And I feel like as time has evolved, the vision's changed, and it's more of like the relationship side of the business and building rapport and relationship one transaction at a time.
Right
and I
on.
think that's a real big deal. And I think the other thing that we've kind of added in, which I always did when I was a solo agent prior to running a team, would be treating people at the highest level. So a Nordstrom style feel of customer service, communication, follow through. But then we added in that Amazon speed. We're the first to the property. We're really quick. We think outside the box. And I think those are some really big differences in how we kind of run the ship and the way we do business here.
Well, that's neat. I really like that, the marrying of speed and care. That's very, very cool. And it sounds like you've got a system backing that and behind it. That being said, you were a solo agent and have evolved into a team lead. Tell me about the team. How many members on the team now? What's kind of how has that evolved?
Yeah. We have about 18 people on the team, agent. We have an operations manager full-time, and then we have a full-time social media manager.
Okay.
And we have 2 full-time dialers that are making calls on behalf of the lenders and the agents within the team.
Nice.
There's a full-time ISA that's an assistant to all. So she'll help follow up. She'll help making sure that pipelines are updated. All that.
Pause real quick.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what an ISA is, what's an ISA?
Inside sales associate.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So they're working inside. Yeah, good call. They're working inside the CRM, and they're making calls.
Sure.
Because most agents are really busy and they're running around showing houses, doing pre-inspections and handing keys off. They don't have 8 hours a day to prospect and make calls. And me being an agent of 19 years, I remember those times.
Sure.
And this is one of the reasons why I put the system together that I did. So there's always business turning. Doesn't matter if you're on vacation, there's going to be a group of people that are working on your behalf outside of the team agents, because everybody works on the team. Like here at my office and on my team, we all help each other. But there's dialers doing that consistently.
Oh, okay. So you join the Gurnee team, and you're obviously working when you're working, but if you're doing R&R and resting and recuperating and downtiming, you come back to not a massive amount of chaos, but some order and structure.
Yes. Yeah. Which makes life a lot easier, right? Less stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's first say you have a client. I'll just be real quick, but let's first say you have a client, you're on vacation, you have a client that says, hey, I want to go take a look at these 3 houses. We've got a Slack channel that you could just log right into and say, hey, I need some help. Who can help me open these doors? And nobody's going to get in your pocket and say, well, you got to pay me to do that. They understand that it's for the greater good of the team. And if everyone's winning, the whole team's winning. And that's real important to everybody on this team.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Right on. Any other highlight about team, either from an attraction standpoint, or from gosh, we've really evolved this and it's been working really well?
Yeah. I could tell you, we also have a full-time transaction coordinator that runs everybody's transactions. So once you get it into contract, not saying you just totally step away, but she's following up and paying attention. So that's even less stress off of the agent, which I think that's evolved considerably, because before the agent would run their transaction. And I think you get too busy at the point where you just can't do everything. And so that's pretty nice. And then the TC, if need be, this is something new that we added. You're on the fly, you need to get an offer in right away. You can send some details over to her. She could prep it. You still have to review it and okay it.
Sure.
But she can do that on the fly for the agents as well. It makes us a lot quicker.
Got it. Right on. That's nice to be a little bit more nimble and on the fly and not necessarily lose your mojo when you're trying to, make your prospecting calls and do your follow-up things and have your rhythm and flow for the week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So I'm guessing you're a team, you're kind of the coach of the team, being the team lead. So I'm guessing that there's been maybe, I don't know, we've got still kind of a low inventory market at the time of this recording, right?
Oh yeah.
So tell me
Low.
maybe what's the top 1 to 3 strategies? I don't want to go too long on it, but perhaps, maybe the one thing that you'd say, okay, guys, if you could rinse and repeat this, you'd crush it.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you 3. So strategies are, number 1 is reverse mortgage clients. So people that are living in a house that they've had it for 25 plus years,
Sure.
2-story. These are clients that are going to need to sell their home.
Okay.
And then when they go to sell, they're going to need to buy a home because they're going to be downsizing.
Right.
And that's one of our focuses, that we're actually getting a pretty high yield of return off of that database that we're going after. Right.
And this is for looking for listings. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want to find homes to be able to sell your clients, this is a real quick, easy way to do that.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So you just find someone that has owned the house for 25, it could be 20 years, 20
Sure.
years plus, 50% equity, 2 stories.
Got it. Oh, right. So you call up your title rep that's, calling on you and say, hey, I need this list, and then get after it.
Yep. It's as easy as that. Then you just got to put the time into prospect. So that's one good list. And actually I've done that for multifamily and single family, because there's some multifamily that the consumer lives in that they're going to need to sell it because it's getting to be too much work for them.
Yep.
Or it's a second, it's a second property, investment property, but it's about time to probably sell that asset and then buy into something, doing a reverse mortgage.
Got it.
There's good amount of business there. So that's 1. 2 would be taking a look at properties that are, pending for.
By the way, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you can buy a house on a reverse mortgage.
You can buy a house on a reverse mortgage. We can go ahead.
You find a seller, and then you can sell them a long-term, age in place property. And how happy are you going to make a family and secure their pocketbook, the people they care about's pocketbook, make sure they have enough cash for the long haul, et cetera, right?
Yeah. And here's the beauty of it. And I won't go into it because this is a whole other conversation, but
I know. I just want to make sure that was covered.
Yeah.
Before we went to strategy 2.
Yeah. No, for sure. And here's the thing. A lot of people hear reverse mortgage and they're like, oh, that's the word. They're so shady. 2017 is where things changed and regulation came in, and they made it more positive, let's say, because there was some shady practices for sure that was happening. But
lots of slim shady stuff going on. It was not
big
good.
time. Yeah. But now they've made it a lot better for people that can qualify for that type of loan. And one little thing I wanted to add in, there's a part of the loan that not a lot of people know about, but you can take a portion of the equity that you have in that property and actually get an 8% return right now with how the interest rates are on that money that's sitting there. There's a way to do that. Cool. And I'm sure Jeff, you probably know about it, and then people can reach out to you and talk to you about it, but it's an amazing opportunity.
No, I agree. Okay.
So here's some other ways to help you guys out. You want to, when you search on the MLS, you want to look for homes that have been pending longer than 35 days. Pending for longer than 35 days.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
So usually what happens is if it's been pending that long, there's either a problem with financing or maybe appraisal. They're arguing about that appraisal and they're trying to figure it out. So it gives you, the agent, a prime opportunity to call that listing agent and have a high level conversation to see what's going on.
Got it.
And if you were to write an offer at a certain price with certain terms, what's the odds of them accepting that offer? Like, and find out where they're at.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Okay.
So
that's interesting.
yeah, people
And
don't think.
You've got a great relationship with a great lender that can close in 10 business days. And now you're teed up to run a rescue mission and win the day for not only your client, but
Yes.
also your, new friend in real estate, because they're going to love you for it.
Yes. So you hit the nail on the head. So as an agent, you would then, after you hear where everything's at with that listing agent, you would then go to your partner, Jeff, and have a high level conversation with him to let him know what's going on.
By the way, I love this subliminal, thank you.
You got it, brother. So then the lender can call and talk about how great the financing is.
Yep.
Right? So then they feel super confident in moving forward with your offer rather than going back to active.
Right.
Because once it goes back to active, everybody attacks the property.
Everybody loses. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one, right? So we added a couple extra things in there. The second one would be contingent. You should be looking at contingent. Anything that's contingent, you can go in, have a conversation. If your offer is super strong and they're willing to look at it and accept it, they can potentially bump the other offer that's contingent.
Got it. Okay.
Most people don't look at that. And then I would say the other one is like pending inspection. I know we were only supposed to do 3, but the other one's pending inspection. If it's longer than 7 days pending inspection, they're kind of going back and forth probably and trying to negotiate on terms of that.
Sure.
Again, conversation, high level, don't be scared. The worst thing they're going to say is no. Best thing they're going to say is, you know what, we're thinking about going back to active, but if you guys can really close in 10 days and your lender will call me, we probably might just accept your offer.
Right. You never know.
Yeah.
So, and this was something in all of, the 3 buyer strategies that you came up with, and then you had the add-on with the reverse conversation, which, that's fantastic as well to create some inventory. But what about, you and I talked about pre-negotiations, and I think all 3 of those strategies, you would have that kind of dialogue. So how does that work? I'm maybe the listing agent.
Yeah. So
ring.
Yeah, I would just call up and say, hey, this is Chris with the Chris Gurnee Team. My client has showed a lot of interest in your property. I've seen you guys have been, sitting for 30 days without a price drop. And here's the thing, like maybe the price is at 800 and your client is like maxed out at like 770. Okay. 30 grand difference. Usually we're seeing it'd be 50. I don't know how aggressive some of these agents are, but it could be 50, 60 grand where they take the drop.
Got it.
But what I'm going to do, I kind of bounce around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to super excited when I'm calling.
Yep.
Not going to go right in to try to negotiate a price way down right away. Don't want to do that because that's disrespectful.
Sure.
But I'm going to ask. I see that you haven't, had a price drop. My client has high level interest, but they're fully qualified, 10-day close. But it's 750. Would your client entertain something like that with strong terms?
Sure. Got it.
Either a yes or a no. If it's a no, and say, okay, well, what's the number that you guys would? 770. Okay,
Cool.
beautiful. Let me have a conversation with my client and I'll follow back up with you later today. Right. And so dependent upon wherever the client is on their approval, we obviously want to try to negotiate the price below where their max is, where they're comfortable with, right? If at all possible. And the more that we can get it down, the higher probability, then we could probably even ask to have them pay for closing costs, prepaids, down payment. So then we can get a rate buy down from you.
Sure. Yeah.
And a lower payment monthly. So I know it's that easy.
Yeah. But this is pure gold, and it's in an environment where you're not going to bat 1,000, but shoot, no. If you bat better than 0,
listen, the way I look at it is like this. there's 12 hours in a workday, right? For some people, there's 8, and that's okay.
Yeah.
There's 12 hours in a workday. If you just take 1 hour of your day and focus in on that, you're going to get an additional contract. You should be able to get an additional contract each month, depending upon how big your buyer pool is.
Right. And I mean, dang, for a lot of agents, and let's talk about that a little bit. So let's say we find some, we're some agents maybe watching this today, maybe they're struggling a little bit. Maybe they need structure and don't want to build it out. Where do they go to maybe chat with you about being on your team, or how does it work?
I'll make it easy. You just text me directly, 206-949-0864.
Sure.
Text me directly, and that's fine. And then just put your name in there. How'd you hear about it? How'd you hear about us? And I'll make time for you. I think the most important thing is what we're looking for is people that are hungry, they're coachable, and they'll follow a process. Right. And if you can do those things, you can change your life. Right. If you follow what we teach it, but it's not for everybody.
Sure.
But use that phone number, text me, put you on it as well, Jeff. Put Jeff's number on there too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's a collective of what we're doing here. Jeff wants to help everyone just as much as I do.
And I'll put it down here in the description and in the channel as well.
Cool. Can I give you 2 more? Can I give you 2 more things? I know time is short, but
hey, if it goes too long, you know what I'll do is I'll just cut it out post production. So
check this out. There's 2 other things. There's 2 other things that are super. I love that. Super important, right? Yeah. And I think one is this is the number one thing that I think we lose track of as salespeople and as humans, right? Is gratitude and focusing in on what's good in our lives and not all the bad stuff, because there's more than enough bad stuff that's happening online and in the world. And if we focus too much on that, we tend to lose sight of all the good things that are happening.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things we like to kind of try to teach and focus on is every day, twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, 3 things that you're grateful for. And it could be anything: a roof over your head, 3 meals, right? Yeah. A wife, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be. Sure. But focusing in on that, because then it makes the day a lot easier. And then you don't really worry or have anxiety about the things that are difficult, like making phone calls or, maybe, having that difficult conversation that the loan was denied, stuff of that nature. So sure. I think that's a big one. And then the other one that I'll give today is really being focused on time blocking.
Yeah.
And that's a big one that we can do on another, talk, but sure. From the time you wake to the time you go to bed, blocking out what you do. And sometimes it's every hour on the hour, or it could be every 2 hours you're doing something. But part of that time blocking is making time for yourself and for your family or significant other. Right. And in business, we forget to do that because we're just, what I said in the beginning, close as many deals as possible. Nothing else, no other focus, racehorse just like this. Right. But we got to open it up a little bit and make time for ourselves, because that's how we fill ourselves back up, but then also make time for our family and our loved ones.
Yeah. Put your mask on first if the plane's got a couple bumps on it.
That's right, my man. That's right.
Cool. Well, again, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time and time blocking for me and putting this together. And we will definitely be back in touch. And it's been great to get to know you. And we'll do some business this year for sure.
Love it.
Continue to do some business this year for sure. So
I agree. Appreciate your time as well. Thank you.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
All right.
I'll stop it. Hold on.